A full night of boxing in the main event. The Baby Bull, 25-0 Juan Diaz versus Julien Lorcy. The WBA lightweight title on the line. Now, this is the third fight of the year for Juan Diaz. This time he comes in with a belt to defend. The weigh-in yesterday, Diaz, who says he walks around in the low 140s, comes in at the lightweight limit, 135. Lorcy, 32 years old, came in at 133 3/4. Now, Lorcy arriving first tonight. He's won 2 belts in this division. The Frenchman has been fighting world-class competition since Diaz was in grade school. The young champ, a junior at the University of Houston, will have support in this building tonight.
So the moment has arrived. The Baby Bull against the 2-time former champ. Let's send it up to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen from San Antonio, Texas, main events and ESPN2 are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Brought to you in association with Don King Productions and sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Chairman Leo Vasquez, Executive Director Bill Kuntz, and Deputy Director Brian Francis. WBA Supervisor Michael Welsh. The 3 judges doing the scoring at ringside will be Ray Hawkins, Glenn Feldman, and Hubert Earl. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Rafael Ramos. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Wearing red and green, official weight 133 3/4 pounds, professional record 56 victories including 41 knockouts with only 3 defeats and 2 bouts even. He comes to us from Paris, France. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, the #1 WBA lightweight challenger, former 2-time lightweight champion of the world, Julien Bobo Lorcy. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, official weight 135 pounds. A perfect professional record consisting of 25 bouts, 25 victories, including 12 knockouts. He is the pride of Houston, Texas, presenting the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA lightweight champion of the world, Juan Baby Bull Diaz.
You receive the pre-fight instruction, protect yourself and obey my command. The trunk's a little bit high, so over here is going to be okay. Any questions? Good luck, both of you. Let's go.
The ring experience between these two, it heavily favors Lorcy, but keep in mind that hidden among the thick numbers for the Frenchman are the many wars that will lead us to question as to whether he has enough to stay with the pace and endure the punishment that'll be set forth by one Juan Diaz, Teddy.
Speaking of wear and tear on the tires, when you speak about Lorcy, there's scar tissue around his eyes. I see that. Cuts could become an issue in this fight.
Well, they were a major issue for Julien Lorcy when he fought Raul Balbi. He was able to fight through that, but he lost the title there.
Lorcy will try to use his experience, and in using that experience, be on the outside, box, try to pick spots. How long can he keep it up? How long can those wheels, those legs, keep him moving Diaz around the ring and off balance and not set to punch? That's the question here. How well can Lorcy stay on the outside and, as far as he's concerned, try to pick apart Diaz as he comes forward?
Short left hand on the inside scored for Diaz.
Diaz wants to get inside, and he wants to go downstairs, but he must press behind that jab to get inside effectively. where he shuts down the counter-punching, the sniper shooting, the pot shotting of Lorcy on the outside. That jab can do that. It's great to be aggressive, and Diaz wants to be aggressive, but you want to be effective. No better way than to press behind cover, namely a left jab. And there's no better way to take away the legs of somebody who wants to box like Lorcy than to go downstairs. And that is Diaz's favorite place to go.
Rafael Ramos with the warning here early in round number 1. You talk about the jabs of Diaz and that being a priority. Well, the CompuBox numbers show that, of course, he's a volume puncher. Falls below the lightweight average for jabs. Diaz throws 16 less jabs per round than do most lightweights. Something he wants to work on to improve his efficiency and to get those good combinations started.
Sometimes not always important in every fight. Important, I believe, in this fight because of the styles and because of the plans and the necessities. Lorcy, an older guy, he wants to stay on the outside. He wants to box. Some of that ability will be taken care or taken away from him if Diaz uses the jab. He will stabilize Lorcy a little bit, make it difficult for him to be as effective on the outside as he wants to be. We know Diaz wants to be inside.
Overhand right came in, as did an uppercut from Lorcy.
Again, important for Diaz to go where he likes to go, downstairs to the body, but important to do it early. Start banging, start hurting that body of the 32-year-old former two-time world champion Lorcy. Start doing it early. Start taking those legs away. Start trapping him on the rope.
The Baby Bull on the attack as round 1 comes to an end here in San Antonio.
Late in the round, that's where Diaz wanted to go, downstairs to the body. Lorcy does a good job of blocking, and it wasn't too late, Joe, in the round for Diaz to grab that round because it was all Lorcy early on.
Teddy, it's one of those rounds that could go either way because of the effective work of Diaz to the body that may have stole the round late, but for the most part, the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that round, Lorcy was in control. You see the punches in round 1, a 19-18 advantage for Lorcy, and here they go against the ropes again.
Well, this is what Diaz wants, cooperation. He wants Lorcy not to use his legs, wants him to stay on the ropes, or for that matter, stay in front of him anywhere in the ring, where Diaz can set up those nice big shots down under.
Well, he's finding him now that he's in the corner. Both men targeting the head. Right hand from Diaz, left hands from Lorcy.
Yeah, but the difference, Diaz targeting the head on leads. Lorcy doing it on counters. He's looking to take advantage of something on the offensive side of Diaz. He's looking to counter in between something, maybe wide. You could see Lorcy with his experience, the former champion. That's what he's trying to do.
You know, Teddy, there just aren't many wide opportunities coming from Diaz when he fights.
Well, he's getting close enough, but they're not really tiny, real short punches. There's a little bit of fat on that meat. Not a lot, but a little bit. And Lorcy is looking to cut it off. Again, Lorcy likes to use those legs. Look, defensively, there's 3 lines of defense that's important for viewers to know going into this fight. One is to be able to slip punches, another to block, another to use the legs. Lorcy uses 2 lines. He blocks and he uses his legs. How long can he use those legs? Diaz likes to move his head and he likes to block. He does not use his legs. He likes to take legs away by going downstairs like that. To me, this is what's going to tell the contest.
There's a right hand, and Diaz follows it up with another. Now trying to score with the left hooks. Back to the uppercuts.
2 offensive windows of opportunities for Diaz. One is the obvious one. When Lorcy lays on the ropes, Diaz can go to work downstairs and then bring it upstairs. The other is watch when Lorcy steps out. Sometimes as Lorcy steps out, leaves himself a little vulnerable. Diaz, always looking to get an advantage, always looking to be opportunistic, could step with him and nail him as he steps away.
Stylistically, you can already tell this is a crowd-pleasing fight. High-volume stuff from both Lorcy, and Diaz.
Two questions here. How long can Lorcy use those legs? And how long can Diaz keep up the pressure going downstairs? He's young. Let's take a look at some of this body work with one of the new devices we have for our fans to make the fight a little more enjoyable. Super slow-mo. You can see Diaz loading up. He knows that he has a defensive Lorcy in front of him, so he could put a little more mustard on those punches, Joe, because he knew that Lorcy's mindset, and technically, he was in a shell. He wasn't looking to counter right then.
Former two-time champ Julien Lorcy in the red. The youngest current world champion, Juan Diaz, from Houston, wearing the blue. Now, tonight's telecast is being simulcast in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. You can watch the entire title fight in Spanish on ESPNDeportes.com starting tomorrow afternoon.
Big difference when Diaz presses, Joe, behind the jab than when he doesn't. When he presses behind the jab, takes a lot of that outside pot shotting away from Lorcy. Simply put, Lorcy wants to do his damage on the outside like there before Diaz gets in close where he can do his best work. And it's hard to do your work on the outside when a guy's coming forward with a jab. Diaz not using the jab now, Lorcy doing well. You're going to see this throughout. This is a blueprint for the fight. Lorcy doing well early, but can he keep it up with the young, always pressing champion, Diaz?
Juan Diaz never stops. He never stops. And that'll test you.
But it's not just a matter of not stopping. It's a matter of how you're doing it.
And you talk about that jab, Teddy, and that's what they want to execute better with. He was only 2 out of 53 in the first 2 rounds. Now the body rope, and Lorcy trying to escape off the ropes as he does so, doubling and tripling up that left hand.
Well, the body work came in one of those lines of defense that we talked about for Lorcy, went down. The legs stopped, Diaz got close, the body work started to come.
Now back in the center of the ring where he can utilize those legs. Behind the jab, fires off a 1-2.
That scar tissue around the eyes.
You can see it now, Teddy. You can see it now.
You see a mouse right now under the right eye of Lorcy. Now the good news, it's under the eye. It's not bleeding, and if it does bleed, it bleeds away from the eye, where it would not obstruct the vision. The bad news, the swelling, if it continues, will obstruct the vision of Lorcy's up to the corner, the cut man, to get that end throw on it. Nice, constant pressure, and try to bring it down.
That was the struggle he had to overcome back in October of 2001 against Raul Balbi. Fought the remaining 8 rounds of that fight with a bum right eye.
Well, we talked about Diaz has to start going to the body early with Lorcy for it to count, to wear him down. With a cut man of Lorcy, better get on that eye early before it gets worse.
Over the top right hands now. Spurs on an attack from Juan Diaz as he closes out this 3rd round. Well, on the heels of Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and Oscar De La Hoya's knockouts, Juan Diaz tries to take a step forward and fill the void for American fight fans. You're watching Friday Night Fights main event special, the WBA Lightweight Championship, as he defends for the first time against Julien Lorcy, the 2-time former champ. Good rally to close out that 3rd round from Juan Diaz, but once again, Teddy, it was a round in which there was action early on that favored Lorcy. This is a very, very competitive fight.
Get used to it, my friend. Early on, we said it. Lorcy, the experience, able to be fresh coming out of the minute rest, using those legs to separate himself, get room, get angles, be able to pick Diaz off a little bit when he doesn't use the jab on the outside. But then as the round goes on and the young 21-year-old world champion starts to press it up a little bit, all of a sudden the legs go away from Lorcy. The round starts to go in the favor of Diaz. It's going to be up to the judges to be earnest and to be on top of themselves, and obviously to be honest, to look and see. One guy has the early part of the round, another guy has the late part of the round. Who do I give it to? Give credit to Diaz, Joe. Just a moment ago, he showed another dimension. He's growing with the world title. Instead of just walking forward, looking for the hooks, he looked to time Lorcy with a right hand, as Lorcy was a little bit slow getting off one of his shots at a distance. That kind of vision, that kind of versatility, ability to change up will keep Diaz a champion.
Here in the fourth round, more noticeable swelling around that right eye. Julien Lorcy, a problem he had the last time he fought for this version of the lightweight title.
Now, we talked about Diaz needing to press behind the jab, take the outside fight, take the jab away from Lorcy, take the pot shotting away from Lorcy, stabilize him in the one place where he can be better than you, on the outside. We talked about him going to the body to take the legs away from Lorcy. But there's one other thing Diaz must do a better job of: cutting the ring down. Do not follow the boxer around. Right now, Diaz doing a little following. There, you could see he took that parallel move and went down the line like a linebacker in football and started to cut the ring away, take space away from Lorcy. If he does that, it's going to be difficult for Lorcy as the rounds grow late.
Now coming in strong as we come to the end of this fourth round with more body work. You take a look at that right eye of the former two-time champ, Julien Lorcy. When we met with him yesterday, we questioned him about the troubles, the cuts and swellings of those right eyes. It's played a major role in his career.
Because when you cut like this, it's not a problem, because the blood is come like this. When you cut here, you're boxing just with one eye. When you're boxing for 2 rounds, it's no problem. When you're boxing for 8 rounds, this is a very big problem.
And it was a very big problem when he lost the WBA lightweight world title to Raul Bobby. Teddy, do you think it's becoming a very big problem tonight?
But it's on its way to becoming one, and it's not the cut, as he talked about, above the eye. It's the swelling right now underneath the eye. But the important thing is to get to it early. And I don't know if they've been using that end swell, that cold piece of metal in the corner of Lorcy, to make sure that they do not allow that swelling to grow. If you don't stay on it early, it gets away from you, and you have a problem that you cannot control later on.
Julien Lorcy in the red trunks, the former world champ, and the young sensation Juan Diaz wearing the blue trunks. I'm Joe Tessitore alongside Teddy Atlas, Brian Kenny, and Jeremy Schaap, also with us here in San Antonio for this Friday Night Fight special Thursday main events edition of ESPN Boxing. Juan Diaz, the All-American type, faithful son and brother, hard-working student, dedicated athlete. Teddy, this is the good of boxing in front of us tonight.
Yes, it is. Matter of fact, I think that Diaz has a chance to be a pioneer of sorts. Muhammad Ali was a pioneer in his way. Diaz can be one to be the poster child to bring back something that's not around anymore. Make the sport better, make society better. Bring back collegiate scholarships, college scholarships for boxers, for kids who cannot get to college on football or basketball, and do not want to only aspire to be an Olympic gold medal winner or a world champion, but want to have a chance for education. Diaz can be the guy who changes the face of boxing in that way.
People are taking notice. Young prospect doing it the right way, doing it well on the inside in round number 5.
You boxing writers out there, if you care, start making noise about it. Start getting to the ears of the college presidents, getting to the ears of the NCAA people that make those rules. Let's help our sport. We have a young man who can do it.
Well, you know, while main event's promotional stablemate, Panchito Bajado, was panned by the boxing critics as a too much, too soon prospect, Diaz has turned into the media darling in this sport for the past 6 months. Everybody was so impressed by what he did against Lak Vassim to win the title this July, a near flawless performance. And of course, how can you not be impressed by what he does outside the ring? A student at the University of Houston, studying history this semester.
Well, right now inside the ring, 3 things that Diaz must concentrate on. Press behind the jab, take away that outside fighting from Lorcy. That's Lorcy's one spot that he can be better on the outside. Use the jab, get inside, bang to the body, and cut the ring down. Do not follow Lorcy around. Again, you can see when the jab is used by Diaz, it's much more difficult for Lorcy to box on the outside. When it's not, Lorcy can stick and move.
Juan preparing himself for the 6th round. Through 5 rounds, he has outlanded Lorcy 111-93, and in that 5th round, he landed 20 out of 60. Much more efficient effort compared to Lorcy's 18 out of 87. Teddy Atlas's scorecard through the first 5 rounds. 48-48. You gave it a 10-10 third round.
Look, there's not many certain things in this world. I can tell you one certain. My scorecard is different than the scorecards of the fighters here in Texas.
Well, we found that out when Jorge La Cierva earlier tonight, the 7th-ranked junior featherweight in the world, was stunned and shocked at a draw result against Armando Guerrero from Austin, Texas, mind you.
The only mistake La Cierva made was geographical. He did not,
Texas, yeah.
He did not come from Texas, and he fought a guy in Guerrero who did come from Texas. The judges should be ashamed of themselves.
Diaz here, 6th round, still coming forward, firing off, now doing a little more work behind that jab. You saw it there, Lorcy firing on his own left hand. Diaz made his pro debut as a 16-year-old in Mexico. He fought 5 days after his 17th birthday here in the United States. And he also had a pro fight on the night of his senior prom.
Joe, on the outside, we know Lorcy has an edge. On the inside, we know the baby bull Diaz, the world champion, has an edge, which he's showing right there. But if somebody can live in the other guy's world just a little bit, they're going to have the edge in the fight. And I think it's Diaz who has a chance of doing that by using his jab when he comes forward. Or right now, it's Lorcy living in the world of Diaz and doing well in that space. So whoever can live in the other guy's world and get away with it, just in spots, maybe that gives him the edge in the fight. It would be Diaz using a jab on the outside, taking some of that outside world away from Lorcy, who likes to control that space. And it would be Lorcy being able to do this on the inside and then get back outside where he can do that.
Lorcy's ability to double and triple up that left hand has served him so well in this 6th round. Of course, Diaz able to return plenty of fire. Teddy, you can start to see now some pooling of blood in the swelling under that right eye. It's been a concern of Julien Lorcy since the 3rd round.
But a good job by the corner keeping the swelling from getting any worse. But you're right. Starting to open up a little bit, but again, the blood going away underneath the eye. That's good. It's the swelling that Lorcy's corner has to worry about, not the bleeding. Again,
Diaz.
Who can be more consistent in their space? Lorcy on the outside or Diaz inside?
Good exchange.
Allez, on est dans la deuxième partie du combat, 7e. C'est la 7e.
We're starting the 7th round.
Julien Lorcy, the 2-time WBA world champion, getting another shot at the title. Hasn't fought since September of 2003 before this encounter with Juan Diaz. That was due to a promotional contract situation. But Teddy, I'll tell you, forget about the ring rust. This veteran is showing some stuff tonight in San Antonio.
I left something out in my elements about breaking this fight down that I'm going to correct now. I said the fight will come down to how long, and it still may, how long Lorcy can use those legs, box on the outside, how well he can survive on the inside. But there's one other thing.
What's that?
How well can he be received and judged by the hometown judges here in the hometown of Diaz?
Teddy, this is a very difficult fight to score, and you could have a lot of these rounds going either way. Let's see how the corner of Juan Diaz sees things as we're joined by Ronnie Shields. Ronnie, Joe, and Teddy with you. How do you see it?
I think Juan is winning the fight. This guy's real tough. I mean, he's a two-time world champion. He come to try to get the title back.
Ronnie, it's Teddy here. This is a real close, tough fight. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah. I think Juan is outboxing him, and then on the inside, Juan is a little bit faster than him. But this guy, he's relentless. He don't stop.
Hey, we expected, I'm sure you did, Lorcy to look to box. But at 32, how long could he use those legs? That was the question. Are you surprised how well Lorcy is staying inside in spots with Diaz and fighting his fight?
Well, he don't have no choice, Teddy. He has to stand the inside with Juan because Juan is cutting the ring off on him. And, Juan is getting good extension on his jab now. That's why you see Lorcy's right eye the way it is. But, he has to fight. He's fighting Juan fight. He's fighting the fight that we planned for. Juan is hurting him in spots to the body, but I want Juan to keep beating him on the arms so we can get them body shots in.
You mentioned the jab before, Ronnie. I said that was an important. Everyone talks about the body punching defense of Diaz, and we know that's great, but that jab is important for Diaz on the outside to get in. That's the most important thing Juan has. Everybody see the body shots. I mean, anybody can throw body shots, but you have to set everything up. And you have to set it up behind the jab. Once he gets close, then he can do what he's doing right now. I agree with you.
What is in his favor.
Good luck, Ronnie.
Thank you very much. Shields, a lot of work still ahead of you. Thank you very much for your time. Great action here in round number 7. Lorcy, Diaz, back and forth they go, trading left hands. And now on the inside.
Well, you like a Texas barbecue? This is an old-fashioned Texas fight.
And now you can see some blood trickling down underneath that right eye. Lorcy has stayed right in that pocket, firing time and time again, while the baby bull keeps charging forward. Juan Diaz, 25-0. He won the WBA lightweight title at 20 years old. This, his first title defense in a game. Julien Lorcy stands in front of him as we start this 8th round. The punches in round number 7. Diaz, a 26-21 advantage, and he's been coming on strong as the round comes to a close. He had a 13-5 connect advantage in the last minute of that 7th round. As for Teddy Atlas's scorecard, all tied up 67-67. Many of these rounds could go either way. The one thing I will say, Diaz has been coming on strong in the latter half of the round, and specifically the last 30 seconds of many of these close rounds, and we know what that can mean.
Well, that fits into his style, and that fits into his youth. He's 21 years old. He's aggressive. He likes to go to the body, and that means trying to wear your opponent down, and then you throw into the mix. Your opponent is a former 2-time champion who's 32 years of age. You want to be able to win that fight, or at least pull ahead and start to dominate the late part of the bout. To the credit of Lorcy, he's been mixing it up well. We know he wants to live on the outside for the most part. But Ronnie Shields, the former top contender, who's a trainer for Diaz, doing such a great job, one of the top trainers in the business, he said it right. He said that Lorcy had no choice but to fight in spots because the pressure, after a while, you have to be able to give a guy a taste of his own medicine. You have to fight inside a little bit because the pressure is always there. Lorcy has to be able to gain respect. Do that, score some shots on the inside. But the thing is, don't stay there too long because finally youth will start to win out and body punching will start to tell its toll. Lorcy doesn't want to be there too long. But then again, it's a Rubik's Cube, so to speak, for the problems of Lorcy, what he's facing with Diaz, because you want to be on the outside, but how long can you stay on the outside when you have 32-year-old legs?
And almost as if it's on cue, the last 30 seconds of this 8th round, and the baby bull going at it. Diaz with a series of combinations to the body.
And again,
Lorcy with the left hand.
Using that experience, wants to be on the outside, but look for him every once in a while, Joe, how he looks to time Diaz. If Diaz throws a little too wide without using his jab, and that's why the trainer of Diaz, Ronnie Shields, wants him to use that jab, not leave himself open. When he does every once in a while, Lorcy has been able to time him, pot shot him.
Juan Diaz with Ronnie Shields, 4 rounds to go. We told you he's a wonderful student, a wonderful champion, and he cares about his community.
It's a great experience because, you know, I know a lot of kids, they're going the wrong way, and they say, well, you know, I don't care about life. But if they see me come in and they see me that I've been doing good, I'm a lot closer to the age than their parents or any adult, then they can relate a little bit more to me. And I know that if I say what I've done and what's helped me in my life, then at least one of those kids is gonna listen. And you know, that's all that matters to me, is that if one kid listens and he can make it to the top like I have, then that's a great feeling.
You know, he's almost one of those too good to be true, but it is true of Juan Diaz. Cares so much about all the aspects of his life, his studies, his professional life in the ring, his career. And he says, you know, finish up at the University of Houston, continue on my boxing career, eventually go to law school, become an attorney, wants to work as a boxing attorney, knows the sport inside and out, and wants to do pro bono work for those who need representation back in his hometown of Houston. Round number 9. The punches through 8 rounds, 177 to 148. Lorcy busier, throwing 638, but Diaz with 31% connected. Teddy Atlas's scorecard, 77-76, the 8th round going to Diaz. Diaz once again in that final minute. We told you, almost on cue. He had an 8-1 connect advantage in the final minute of that 8th round.
Well, Joe, do you like your salad before your meal or after your main meal?
Teddy, I'm Italian, so I go after the meal.
Okay, well, this fight is going to come down to, do the judges like the early part of a round, or do they like the late
part of a round? So that would make me a Diaz guy.
Yes, it would.
Well, it's so easy to say that you can steal a round, but this isn't exactly stealing a round. Both guys can claim many of these close rounds. They're out there earning it, punch by punch. They've been busy, active, and I'll tell you, referee Rafael Ramos hasn't had to do much work tonight.
Well, just there, Diaz changed his arsenal, his repertoire up a little bit. He's been sticking with mostly jabs when he's used it enough, and I'm sure he hasn't used it quite enough for the likes of his trainer, Ronnie Shields, who knows how important that jab is to get into the world of Lorcy and to keep him honest on the outside. But for the most part, Diaz has used those hooks on the inside. But a moment ago, he switched up to an uppercut, and it was very effective.
Surging in behind the jab now, a straight right hand, and Diaz going to the body with that right hand, and now hunting and chasing down Lorcy, who's against the ropes.
Starting to wear down the 32-year-old former world champion. But the former world champion shows you why he was a 2-time champion. He comes right back.
Julien Lorcy has never been knocked out in 61 fights.
He's been forced now to fight more and more in the place where Diaz wants to live, on the inside. And the more and more Lorcy is forced to fight on the inside, the better and better it looks for Diaz down the stretch. Diaz should look for that uppercut on the inside now, Joe. Because of the pressure, because of the body punches, just watch. When Diaz gets close, Lorcy leans forward a little bit. That can leave a window for that uppercut. Look for it in the late rounds.
Strong 9th round for the Baby Bull.
I want you going to the body, but I do not want you.
Juan Diaz
try to hit him with hooks
coming
right
off of maybe his strongest round of the fight, Teddy.
Get yourself close, and then you go to work.
Diaz starting to get to the 32-year-old, stepping up the pressure a little earlier this round, making it possible for him to do more work late in the round. Always pressing, cutting the ring down, and going to where he loves to eat. Downstairs to the body of Lorcy and mixing it up. Left, right, up the middle. That's what you want to see from a young fighter who's still learning, still growing, Diaz.
Teddy, you know, that's something that we have to keep in mind. Yes, he's a world champion. Yes, he's well beyond his years, having earned this belt at 20 years old. But he is still learning. He is still growing. So what his potential is, who knows? He could be something very special for years to come in this sport.
Inside and outside the ring. Let's not forget that. You're absolutely right.
Power punches in round 9. Diaz's strongest effort of the night. 19-9 advantage, and look at the percentage. 43% landed.
You know, we've talked about the jab of Diaz. We've talked about cutting the ring down. We've talked about the pressure, and we've talked about the hooks. But what we've been talking about, without even specifically mentioning it, is the character of Diaz. So important to a champion in anything, and Diaz has been carried by that character. Even to his credit, look at the early part of his career, and it showed a little bit in his work ethic. You know, he had baby fat. He turned pro, Joe, as a junior welterweight, 142 pounds. First 8 fights stayed at junior welterweight, and then he dropped down to lightweight. You very rarely see that with a young fighter. Usually they go up because their body's grown. He turned pro, for God's sakes, when he was 16. Body's still growing. He didn't go up. He saw that he needed to be lighter, and what did he do? He made a plan and an effort to bring it down to lightweight, where he would be best suited with his size.
His dedication and discipline showing through in his training, and it shows up in his fights.
Again, the body punching, the pressure from Diaz. Lorcy starting to lean forward a little bit on the inside. I would look for Diaz starting to change those hooks into uppercuts when he gets close. Once again, you saw it right there. Lorcy starting to give an opportunity, I believe, for Diaz to start to use that uppercut.
Final minute of this 10th round as we will head into the championship rounds. And Teddy, now you talked about the experience of Lorcy heading into this fight. Now it's Diaz who has had the experience of going 12 hard rounds, and it's paying off. Here comes Diaz, overhand rights. Lorcy, little by little, being overtaken. Strafing attack to the head from Juan Diaz.
You look at Lorcy, and you understand what it means to be a pro.
Diaz strong down the stretch run of this championship bout.
The last round, some replay of Diaz switching to that uppercut we've been talking about. Lorcy starting to make that punch available by leaning forward.
Round number 11. WBA title on the line. Julien Lorcy has held it twice in his career. The reality is this may be his last chance at going after it. For Juan Diaz, this could be the first of a long string of title defenses. Everybody's been so effusive in their praise of Juan Diaz, but there's a reason to be.
We got to listen in, to peek into the corner in between the last round of Diaz, and Ronnie Shields confirms once again why he's one of his top trainers, saying everything right. When there's distance, I want that jab. Take away that distance with your jab, and when you're in close, I want to see that uppercut.
And most importantly, he has a young charge in front of him and knows how to listen the right way too. Both Willie Savannah, his amateur trainer and longtime manager of Juan Diaz, and Ronnie Shields, such a close relationship of Team Diaz down in Houston.
But that's not an accident. Part of that is the student, as you just said, Joe, but part of it's the trainer, making sure that the guy in front of him does listen. No options about that. You're the teacher, he's the student. Ronnie Shields understands that, the former top contender at a junior welterweight division. Fought for the world title against Billy Costello.
Straight right from Diaz.
Maybe the fight being extended a little bit right now by what Diaz is not doing. He is not pressing like he did the other rounds, allowing Lorcy to have a breather, have separation, have less pressure, have maybe a little bit of a reprieve, a chance to get himself together and have a decent round so far. After suffering 3 straight or 4 straight very difficult rounds.
Good exchange there. There's a right hand and a big left hook comes in from Diaz.
See, that's the experience of Diaz. You better not fall asleep on him. The experience, I mean, of Lorcy. Don't fall asleep on a former 2-time champion, because he'll look to time you. Yeah, maybe he's not going to be able to box all night no more. Maybe he's not going to be able to stay inside anymore. But he's going to pot shot. He's going to see something fat, something a little wide like you just saw, and he's going to be able to beat you to the shot with a time bomb. And that's exactly what Lorcy's trying to do. Time Diaz right now.
We're not going to let him have it. We're going to stay focused on the jab. When we get close, we're going to arm.
Juan Diaz starts to dominate.
Okay? All right?
And when he does do it, he does it the same way. Coming forward, looking for that big left hook. But right there, you saw Lorcy doing a pretty good job of blocking. He's not a former 2-time champion for nothing.
Rounds 7, 8, 9, and 10. Diaz's total connects 26, 22, 26, 23. He's been effective and aggressive down the stretch of this championship fight. WBA lightweight title on the line, the 12th and final round on this Friday Night Fights main event special. And a much different pace now being set as they open up the final stanza here. Diaz digging with left hands to the body. Up top with the right hand. Lorcy returning fire, but the Baby Bull keeps pressing forward. Smart defensively on the inside, then releasing.
Look for the game experience. 32-year-old former 2-time champion Lorcy. He knows where he's at. He knows he's not getting a decision here. He's going to look to time Diaz. He's going to look for Diaz to get just a little reckless where he can explode something in between what he hopes is an opening and something a little wide.
Julien Lorcy has 41 knockouts of his 56 wins.
Again, Diaz should be looking for that punch, the uppercut. Lorcy leaning forward a little bit when Diaz gets close.
He's going to need number 42 most likely to pull this out after what Diaz has done in the second half of this fight. To the body, now upstairs with a left uppercut from Lorcy. Diaz returns with body work.
Right now, Lorcy's not thinking about a decision. He's thinking about an opportunity. Let's see if he gets it. Let's see if he can act on it. He's looking to time one good punch.
NFL Live will be following this WBA lightweight championship fight. Juan Diaz, the 21-year-old sensation, 25-0, the youngest active world champion in the sport.
Watch Lorcy, Joe. Watch him on the inside. He's looking to get a little help from the champion. He's waiting for Diaz to throw. He's looking to throw with him and see if he can time him.
And while he's looking and while he's waiting, Diaz is scoring.
He's hoping that Diaz will throw something just a little fat and he can maybe drive something home. Let's not forget, most of the fights have been in the France for Lorcy, but he has shown that he knows how to travel and win a title. In 2001, long time ago, he regained the WBA title in Japan.
Look at this effort, Teddy, from Juan Diaz. He's given his fans everything they came to see in his first title defense. He's given Lorcy the opportunities, but he's putting on a show and going out like a champ.
Well, this is terrific. Texas has the Alamo, but tonight we have Diaz and Lorcy.
Both fighters over 100 punches thrown in this 12th and final round. Diaz going over 117. Great action between these proven warriors, and the local Texas fans know what they saw tonight. The total punches between Lorcy and Diaz, look at the numbers, very impressive, but the 31% from Diaz, that's what may have done it for him. Teddy Atlas's scorecard. 116-113. Diaz taking over the second half of this fight. For the official scores, we send it up to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at San Antonio, we go to the scorecards of the judges. Hubert Earl scores it 118-110. Ray Hawkins has it 119-109. And Glenn Feldman scores it 118-110. All to the winner by unanimous decision. And still, the undefeated WBA lightweight champion of the world, the pride of Houston, Texas, Juan Baby Bull Diaz.
Juan Diaz moves to 26-0. An impressive 12th round to cap the night. He was 31 out of 93 on his power punches in that 12th round. Let's head up to the ring to Jeremy Schaap and Teddy Atlas. Guys.
Juan, a tremendously hard-fought fight as you retain your title, your first defense. What were the keys to winning tonight?
I think my biggest key was my jab. Julien Lorcy was a tremendous fighter. I mean, that's why he's a two-time ex-world champion. But I think the biggest key was my jab.
Were you surprised, Juan, that he stayed inside and gave you a little taste of your own medicine inside a little bit?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I thought he was going to back up the whole night. I mean, most of the time he did, but I mean, he stayed in there like a true champion.
What are you going to take from this, Juan?
I know that, you know, even though the guys are 32 years old, ex-world champions, that doesn't mean they don't got nothing. I mean, he was 32 years old, 60 fights, you know. I thought maybe that would have slowed him down a little bit, but no, that wasn't the case tonight.
Hey, Juan, I've been talking about you have a chance to be more than a champion of boxers. You can be a champion of young men. Are you going to become a poster child and an advocate to bring back scholastic boxing to colleges? You can be the guy to do that.
Thank you very much. I mean, as long as networks like ESPN give me a chance to showcase my talent and prove that I'm one of the best out there, you know, I want to thank y'all guys for having me here, and I just want to say thanks for the chance.
Well, start yelling to the NCAA people out there. Start yelling to them, otherwise they're going to see your left hook.
Thank you very much.
Juan, congratulations. Back down to Joe.
An impressive display tonight. Juan Diaz, his first title defense. Hey, he isn't the best yet, but he has much more room to grow and mature inside the ring. Still, you can tell it's that maturity outside the ring that allows him to avoid the heartbreaks that this sport so cruelly and freely serves up.